Hello again, glad to see you all here, and congratulations on finding a crypto. Before we get started, I'd like to say thanks to everyone who has opted to join our faction, and especially to those who have elected to delegate more authority to us after being with us for some time. I much value your trust, and I promise to use any more voting power for good. And our UNC's plan is to keep taking the lead, right? And pushing others around us who are in charge of creating and building things forward by picking up the barrier that we leave behind ourselves, kind of what we've completed. We want to aid this blockchain as much as possible, therefore if you aren't delegating or subscribing with us, please think about doing so. The title of the video suggests that we are making progress toward our goal of making our final proposal public. Indeed, by the time the video is released, the plan will already have been made public. The plan will be posted to the station within the next day or two. At this point, I believe that everyone has had sufficient time to consider it, and a vote may be held promptly if necessary. So basically, what this is us telling the one team is that this is what we want them to build, and that I'm in constant communication with the members of our team and have been for the entirety of our history. This is a crucial component of our movement right now, and we're actually making progress toward our goals. This is because if we construct it, and by the way, we will construct it, that is, we will construct the entire wallet infrastructure, free of charge. I'll say it again, and this time it's on the house. The proposed domain for this critical infrastructure will be managed by Edward Kim, so that's good. Someone who can be relied on who is not myself is available to us. Also, not just one straight line. Someone with Ed Kim's skills is required for this task. You may rest assured that I've discussed everything in depth behind the scenes before posting this. This isn't just me hoping for the best and writing a blog post about it, it's a serious strategy that's going to be implemented. While just approximately 5% of residents actually make use of it, this site aims to replace the infrastructure for which Terra rebels are billing us. Next quarter, when they bring up the community spool pool spend idea again, you'll be able to tell them, no, we don't need you anymore, we have our own infrastructure, our own wallet system. Not that we would have used them anyway. And it's basically just been a thing where validators are having their votes bought, they're being bought. Clearly there's something fishy going on behind the scenes. Voting was significantly lower for you as community members due to the strong opinion held by the community as a whole. And now that those votes have gone smoothly for the Terra rebels, it's suddenly come up again. So, I'm not going to go over this because you've probably been reading it while I've been talking. You can read up on the screen. It will soon be up for you all to vote on, and I hope we'll get good support on this and that everybody will get behind it. Because in the end, this won't be a system we have to rent, but rather one that the community owns and organizes through the governance system, just as proposals are and so on. This is what we're up to at HCC. I'm not only a YouTuber but am involved in a wide range of activities. I've got myself, I'm in so many different sectors in it or UNC, there's really not a sector that I'm not dabbling in. I'm just focused on making good stuff, uniting the community, and helping you, the community member, benefit from your involvement. Essentially, that's how Link Penguins work. That's exactly what's going on over there. And I simply believe today that if we start to get the things that I've spoken about so many times with the UNC infrastructure, we'll really make a difference. It's possible, then, that we might form an L1, L2 squad in the not too distant future. That's because we'll be able to support it with the money we would have spent on renting facilities instead. No longer will we practice this method. We can afford to hire a long-term workforce to oversee the system and infrastructure we'll be constructing. So, you guessed correctly, this is only part of the system we require. A second proposal will contain the remaining 50%. And yeah, everything has been discussed. It's been discussed, and it's possible to do, even on a tight budget. When people in the neighborhood find out what Bill gets, I think they're going to be startled when contrasted to what you're used to. These 10 outcasts are stealing from the town. We don't need to work with TFL anymore. In fact, we'd be 100% independent of them if we had a system that belonged to us and that we could actually update. This is why I'm sticking so firmly to my guns over here and actually going out to fight the fight and provide the systems that they're overcharging everybody for. We would then no longer be dependent on these external factors. What I can say right now, and feel free to make fun of this sentence or this film if you like, write it down, get a piece of paper, cut it, crop it, do anything you want with it. I anticipate extreme surprise. Let's say we create a system, and it does exactly what it's supposed to, and then we get to the next round of funding, and they put out their funding proposal, and in my ideal world, they get shut down because we already have systems in place that we just built, right? They will stop making whatever payments they are making immediately. Right. That much is evident in the absence of funds. Therefore, I anticipate that they will reveal their true colors around that time. And already you can see them getting so angry about this, acting as if I'm doing something really bad, when in fact, if they care about this community, they will continue to run those LCD and RCD endpoints. They will continue their wallet infrastructure, because it's theirs, it belongs to them, they developed it, right? They would maintain their ICD LCD endpoints high if they cared about this blockchain. For the simple fact that our CD/OCD system can't function with just one component. That's the point of decentralization, but it defeats the purpose if someone starts charging for a system that only about 5% of people use, and if they pretend to need funding every 3 months while also aligning themselves with the L1 team and, wording their proposals as if they're aligned with the L1 team. And this is just how the system works, even though we don't utilize it. I'm relieved to have finally raised this issue. I'm glad to have taken the initiative on this. In the end, someone has to get started performing my job. We need other people to do it if I'm not going to be there to do it. All these folks who have spoken out and been attacked by trolls because of the way they described their loved ones in private should remind us that it's okay to let our guard down and say what's on our minds. Since it's impossible to fool someone by pretending to be someone else, you don't bother trying. If we aren't authentic and stand up for what we believe in, no one will take us seriously. All of us are merely a bubble that can be pushed. We can all be persuaded. Not something you'll see me do, posting this and then emailing every validator in the system and asking them to approve my request. Jesus Christ, I get it. There are people in the community whose sole purpose is to defraud others, push harmful proposals through, harass innocent bystanders, and otherwise make this whole endeavor look like a farce. And now it's all so transparent to me. As I've already mentioned, moving this ahead ensures its permanence and makes us entirely self-sufficient. After all, who among us wants to remain a part of TFL? Simply put, I don't want us to be a part of any larger system. If this USTC repayment doesn't implode, which I hope it doesn't since who doesn't want to crust repack, we'll have made a major step forward. Everyone at Luna, really, since their company was decimated by this blockchain system. Folks, to whomever this video finds, my mood today is fantastic. I'm ecstatic that this system is finally getting created, and here's hoping it gets approved. I find it hard to believe that anyone would be content to remain trapped in a Faraday cage of CFLs, unable to make any changes or improvements to our situation while still being required to shell out £40,000 every 3 months if the bill fails to pass. Please share your thoughts in the section below. As I was saying, the ACC website is where to go if you have questions about the AC component. Nothing is as it should be. So, until TFL finishes updating the mobile station, we can't turn on the AC module. So, here's the deal. If we were to approve such a measure and put such a system in place, we would no longer be dependent on any external force, and we would become really decentralized and governed by ourselves. So, what else do we need, anyway? Have a wonderful Friday. Be careful. Be modest. Be wary of con artists. Watch out for imposters. You should be suspicious of anyone claiming to be me, since there's always a way I can trap you in the next one. Bye.